What's up, guys? Welcome to CC, your favorite esports news show. I'm your host, Shawstin, and I just want to kind of explain the show a little bit before we start the actual news. So, CC is obviously stands for carbon copy. Now, why carbon copy? Well, when you CC someone in an email, you are sending them that copy of whatever you wrote, and it's mostly just to inform someone of what's going on and keep them in the loop. So that's kind of what I want my job to be with this show is everyone that wants to keep up with every single scene of esport, all the breaking news, the new rosters, the tournaments coming up. I want to keep everyone informed on what every single scene is, and that's hard to do when you're an average esports fan. You get a full-time job, or even if you are working full-time in esports, it's hard to keep up with everything. So I'm going to combine all of my favorite esports, the news, the drama, even combine it into one show to where you can watch it weekly and be caught up on everything important happening in every single scene. Obviously, I can't cover every esport in the world. I'm only one guy, but I'm going to cover all the ones that I know personally and the ones I'm a huge fan of. And then hopefully in the future, we'll be able to have other people on the show that are able to talk about these esports that I'm not too familiar with. So I'm super excited. It's going to start out rough. It's going to start out shaky. I'm just one guy, and then I'm going to, do this along with a couple of friends, hopefully bring on some awesome guests to talk about the esports that they love. And and hopefully it turns into something great. But that's enough for me. Let's hop straight into the news on this week of esports. What's up, Hey Cam? How you doing? Thanks for coming on CC this week. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Shawstin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, what's been going on in the Valorant space this past week? What's happening?
So the biggest news right now is definitely drama surrounding the Guard. So if you remember correctly, the Guard is the team that won the Ascension tournament, which is essentially the promotional tournament for challenger teams to be able to join the big leagues alongside Sentinels and 100 Thieves. Unfortunately, the Guard utterly collapsed a couple of months ago. Management decided that esports wasn't raking in any money. They fired everybody besides their players and coaches, but any supporting staff was gone. And they were kind of in limbo. But during that time in limbo, they actually performed really well and ended up winning the entire tournament. But as time has gone by, we just got news on Tuesday, August 29th at around noon 30. Basically, the announcement from Valorant Esports says that after several months in rounds of communication with the Guard, the organization failed to meet the deadline to agree with the team participation agreement for VCT Americas, and essentially said, no one's going to ascend this year. I think that the Challengers and Ascension tournament put together was around 11 months. A 11th month process, and they decided no team's going to ascend because they couldn't come to an agreement with the Guard. The internet was on fire once. What is his name? The internet was
Leo.
on fire once Leo, global head of
Yeah.
esports at Riot Games, global head of Valorant esports at Riot Games, and he's also the commissioner of the league. He said no one's going to ascend this year, and it blew up. I'm sure that everyone's seen the clip of Nadeshot by now saying these 5 players need to be in the fucking league.
Listen, man, all politics, legal agreements, structure, format aside, I think everything that Leo said was moot. As soon as he displayed the idea of the Valorant sport is earned in-game by the players.
And Ludwig came out with a mogul mail and said, I basically wasted my entire year because I lost the Guard in pivotal moments in which my team, Moist Moguls, could have been promoted to the big leagues. And now that the Guard isn't joining, it's like, what was it all for? There's a couple different options that Leo was talking about in the initial post. They could have allowed the players to explore other teams, but they ended up not doing that because then that kind of sets a precedent for the ability for teams to be able to sell their roster slot in the
Yeah.
league. And
Yeah, obviously, it makes sense that they don't want to have the ability for teams to sell the slot because it kind of incentivizes teams to treat it as a money grab. So there's obviously a point there to be made, but obviously everyone's thought process is we got to get these players in the league no matter what because they earned it.
Exactly. And another option that Leo said that they thought about before they decided to let nobody ascend was that they would have allowed M80 to advance as they were the runner-up of the Ascensions tournament. But they're like, no, M80 didn't earn it, and it's not. These decisions aren't made based out of game. They're based on if you won the tournament or not, and M80 lost. The Guard only dropped 3 maps the entire Ascension tournament. So I think they played 5 series. They dropped 3 maps total. So they were by far and away the best team available, and they just couldn't get it together. So after the internet melted down, it was just a couple of days later. It was on September 1st. So that's 3 days later. At around 7 p.m., Leo and the Valorant team came out and said, "Hey, we hear you loud and clear. We understand how passionate you are about wanting these 5 players on the Guard to be able to play in the big leagues. And they're trying to work out things now with the players, allowing them to explore options with other teams in the league. But what's most important is that they are allowing them to explore options for an organization to go under. So all 5 of them will be able to join an organization, hopefully, if a team can throw together the money and make a good pitch to Riot and the players."
Are there any big org names that you're looking to for them to pick up?
I mean, there's some absolute fan favorites that I'm considering. I mean, especially now in our esports ecosystem, influencer-backed teams are bigger than ever. So some that come to mind are already existing, like DSG, Disguise Team. That's Disguise Toast Team. I wouldn't expect Moist Moguls to do it. It seems like that they're going to retain most of the players from their rosters from their previous challengers run. So I don't think that they're going to make a grab to try and ascend this quickly. I think they're going to let it happen a little bit more organically. So I'm thinking either DSG, maybe we saw some pretty funny faces, some pretty famous faces at the VCT World Championship, and including Ben Affleck. Who knows? If him and his kids get involved. Elanathan. They would easily become, the most hated team or favorite team, depending on how you feel about Elon. But other teams that come to mind, traditional esports teams, Optic. I mean, who doesn't want Optic back in Valorant after their incredible run in the earlier seasons? And then G2, if you remember correctly, G2 was all but in the league until quite a collapse from their previous owner and CEO, Carlos. So they were right on the edge there. And then, of course, you can never count out Jimmy, Mr. Beast. He's been wanting a League of Legends team for a very long time. He's been talking about it for, oh my goodness, maybe 8 years that I can remember now. And I know they definitely prefers League of Legends to Valorant, but this could be his in for Riot Esports.
Well, sweet. Thank you for hopping on and talking a little bit of Valorant with me today. And yeah, like I said, hopefully we see a solution here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Shawstin. My kitten is ruining everything. It totally just fell off my desk and nearly unplugged my webcam, but we're all good. Thanks for having me on Carbon Coffee. This was fun. I hope to see you again.
What's up, Obi? How you doing? Thanks for coming on, CC. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So this weekend, our good friend Ludwig hosted a tournament where he was trying to find the world's greatest gamer. Tell me about the event. What was going on?
Yeah, it's a World's Greatest Gamer is a 2-day event hosted by Ludwig and YouTube. It had 19 gamers compete to see who would be the world's greatest gamer. It had wildly different games, especially on day one. They had free-for-all seating, and they played Minecraft, Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Trackmania. Bottom 6 had to compete in a 1v1 Rocket League event where the losers of each 1v1 went home. Top 4 got a first round bye to day 2.
Yeah. Let's get it. Yeah.
Oh, Rizzo on top. First overall in the competition. Look at that. 6 points in Minecraft. That was 4th, 5th through 8 in Fortnite and Fall Guys in 1st in Trackmania, 25 points. So Rizzo, Smallland, Asu, and Zekin are all moving on tomorrow. Guaranteed top 12.
And day 2 had something I was looking very much forward to, X Defiant, where they had the bottom 12 people compete in a 6v6 best of 5, which unfortunately one of the teams, they were randomized, and one of the teams had both Clayster and Tens on it, and it was a very short best of 5 if you couldn't tell.
Oh, come on, someone trade!
Shoot him, you roll!
No.
Oh my God.
This is kind of free. This guy got to be a pro, huh? It's pro.
No, you can't shoot through the wall, but you do get
Mango.
vision through the wall.
Let's go, Mango!
That's the intel suit on the Echelon.
Let's go, Mega.
We got teabag at the end. Let's go.
Yup.
Yo, that good old Lipton's iced tea, huh?
Dancing?
Yeah. They won.
What the? It's shuffling on us.
Clayster went crazy, and we also had a guest appearance by our good friend Patrick Price, aka Aches,
The legend.
and the legend. And yeah, he showed off the game. He was talking with Ludwig and the gang, and it was pretty cool. Void won $20,000, and he became the world's greatest gamer, which is also really cool because there was not a single platform fighter game at the world's greatest gamer. And so what you could say Void is truly the world's greatest gamer.
Yeah, so speaking of which, what was your opinion on the variety of games that were there, and what were some of the categories that people say were missing?
I liked the variety. There's quite a bit of variety, I would say, but it would definitely be cool to see a MOBA in there. Just give me a small League of Legends tourney or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or one match. And then, of course, not a single platform fighter. I'm surprised they didn't have one Super Smash Bros. Thing going on there. But
yeah, especially with Ludwig's, fanfare of the melee Smash Bros. Game. You would think that there would at least be melee, but maybe he didn't want any trouble with from Nintendo on this event. Yeah, so with this event, do you think they were truly trying to find the best gamer in the world, or you think it was more so kind of just a showcase of talent and funny characters?
I'd say more for fun, but pretty cool. Pretty cool games, and I mean, with a person that doesn't play FPSs or freaking Fall Guys or Minecraft, for him to win a tournament or event like this, I think it's pretty. I mean, it's in discussion. You could find the world's greatest gamer in it.
All right, sweet. Well, thanks for hopping on the show and talking about the world's greatest gamer. Congrats again to Void. Obi, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Moving on over to the Call of Duty League. Let's talk about the confirmed and rumored rosters we've got thus far in the 2024 Call of Duty League season. The most recent of which is the Los Angeles Thieves roster, announced last Friday, which has Ghosty, Cammy, Joe Deceives, and Afro. And we knew the LA Thieves were kind of going to have a roster of lesser-known names, salary cap or salary cuts for the team in general, and bringing in some, players that want to prove their worth and make a name for themselves in the CDL League. Probably the most achieved or established name on the roster right now is Cammy. Been in the CDL since the inception, I think. I could be wrong there. Ghosty obviously making his name in the CDL with Optic this past season. Joe Deceives also making his debut, I think, on the LA Gorillas. I could be wrong with that one as well. And then obviously Afro being on a couple of teams in the CDL. So all of these players really looking to, make their mark in the CDL. And obviously, probably less expensive as the hallmark names that we had on LA Thieves prior, of the likes, Draza, Octane, Kenny, and of course the Prince Envoy. But these are the teams that we're looking at for the current CDL teams. But the rumored rosters is where it gets pretty interesting. Jacob Hale out of Dexerto giving us a rumored roster of Arcity's Illy, Hook, and Abuza for Seattle Surge. Obviously, the Twitter community making note that these are all 4 AR players. So it might be the slowest team in the league if this happens. People speculating what roster or which player will run the sub. People saying it'll be Abuza, maybe it'll be Illy, and then obviously we've got 2/3 of Zio coming back with Illy and Hook. So that's exciting to see, and they want to make their Optic Curse Revenge Tour happen this next year together. I mean, the Optic Curse, it's happened the past few years, but is it going to be twice the power with 2 of the players coming off of the Optic roster from the previous year? That's going to be interesting to see if that pans out. And then the other roster that we're looking at, and it's not the players that's changing, it's the team logo and city. The London Royal Ravens transitioning over to the Carolina Royal Ravens. I actually have no idea if this has any sort of connection with leadership changes, ownership changes. Their bio says that they are now part of Infinite Reality, which seems to be a metaverse entertainment company. So I'm not sure if that was part of their ownership prior to moving to Carolina, but it's a very interesting move. We had a Raleigh event last year, so maybe we'll see the return to Raleigh in the 2024 season as, a homecoming for the Royal Ravens in the Carolinas. So it should be pretty exciting, and we'll see what roster they pull together. Clayster had a little bait tweet under their announcement saying, "Carolina, you say?" ? But then we saw a few users on Twitter making the obvious remark is there's no more UK team. What players or teams will the people that live in the UK support? And I believe, that marks the end of EU teams in general, because the Paris team moved over to Vegas. The London Royal Ravens moved over to Carolina. So that's all, both of the EU teams that were in existence gone, moving over to the United States. So that kind of begs the question on the future of the CDL globally. Will we have events abroad? Will we have challengers events? Will we have challenger players still stick it out? All of these things kind of beg the question with these international teams moving over to the U.S. Call of Duty's always been a United States focused league, and it's more so than ever that case with these rosters and locations. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for the pilot episode of CC. I want to thank everyone for watching. It's going to get more and more complete and in-depth and advanced and more guests and all of that jazz in the future episodes. But you know what they say, you can't let the analysis paralysis get a hold of you. You just got to put stuff out there, make things, and whatever happens, happens, and you just can't be scared. So that's where we're at now, and it'll just get better from here on out. So weekly episodes, stay tuned, subscribe. We have a Patreon. Check it out in the link in the description below, and support your favorite esports news show. And yeah, I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.